He's the man millions admire. Strong, charming, unshakable. The hero who carried Outlander for nearly a decade, who built an empire of whiskey, fitness, and fame. But beneath the glow of red carpets and the polished smile, there's a truth Sam Heughan never wanted the world to see. And at 45, he finally couldn't hold it in any longer. It happened quietly, during an interview that was supposed to be routine. He was promoting his stage return in Macbeth, a milestone moment that fans were celebrating. But halfway through the conversation, something shifted. The interviewer mentioned the word pressure, and Sam paused. For a few seconds, he said nothing. His hands clenched, his eyes lowered, and then, almost in a whisper, he said, "There are parts of this life that have nearly broken me." The room fell silent. For years, Sam Heughan has been the picture of perfection, disciplined, kind, tireless, the man who never falters. But that image came at a cost few could imagine. Behind the cameras, behind the smile, there were nights when he couldn't sleep, when his mind refused to rest. "You can't be strong every day," he once said. "But people expect you to be." He was talking about fame, but it went deeper than that. Those who know him describe a man who gives everything to everyone else and keeps nothing for himself. Between Outlander, business ventures, fan expectations, and constant rumors about his personal life, Sam's world became a performance he couldn't escape. Even kindness turned into pressure. The need to always appear grateful, composed, available. "He carries everything alone," said a close friend. "He doesn't like to burden others, but sometimes, that's exactly what breaks you." At 45, that breaking point finally came. Fans began to notice the change months before his confession. Sam seemed quieter on social media. His usual humor was replaced by distant captions, moments of reflection. "I'm tired," he wrote once, followed by a single emoji, a storm cloud. It looked harmless, but for those paying attention, it was a cry hidden in plain sight. In a later interview, he admitted, "There were times I questioned everything, the work, the attention, the constant noise. It's strange when the world loves you, and yet you feel completely alone." That line struck a chord because it revealed something few ever see, the loneliness that comes with being adored. For Sam, the line between who he is and who the world thinks he is has blurred beyond recognition. Fans see Jamie Fraser, the loyal, romantic warrior. But Sam Heughan, the man, carries insecurities that fame can't erase. He once confessed to a close colleague that after Outlander's global explosion, he began to lose his sense of self. "Everyone wants a piece of you," he said. "And when you give too much, you start to disappear." There were days when he questioned whether he still loved acting, or whether it had become an obligation. There were nights when the constant speculation about his private life made him want to vanish. "It's ironic," he laughed once, bitterly. "You can be seen by millions, and still feel invisible." As he turned 45, the weight of it all began to surface. During one public appearance in London, fans noticed he seemed distant, almost fragile. A video later showed him turning away as tears filled his eyes when someone shouted, "We love you, Sam." He smiled through it, the way he always does, but those who were there said something felt different. He wasn't smiling because of the love. He was smiling through the pain. It's the kind of quiet breakdown that doesn't make headlines, but it leaves scars. When the cameras stopped rolling that day, Sam reportedly sat in silence for a long time. Then he said softly, "You spend your life pretending to be strong, and one day, you realize you've forgotten how to just be human." That was the moment his mask cracked, not in anger, but in surrender. The strength that made him a star was the same thing that kept him from asking for help. And as he begins to open up now, the world is finally seeing the man behind the myth, vulnerable, exhausted, but still standing. Because what he revealed next wasn't about fame, or fortune, or the pressures of being loved by millions. It was about something darker, something deeper. Something that nearly destroyed him. When Sam finally decided to tell the truth, it wasn't to a journalist or a crowd. It happened quietly, in a dim studio, while filming a documentary about his journey through Scotland. The cameras were rolling, but for once, he didn't care about image or performance. He spoke softly at first, staring off into the distance as if searching for the right words. Then, with a trembling voice, he said, "People see the smiles, the red carpets, the adventures, but they don't see the isolation. I've spent years being everyone's idea of who I should be. Somewhere in there, I lost myself." That was his darkest secret. Not a scandal, not a betrayal, but a quiet, invisible pain. For years, Sam Heughan had battled loneliness, exhaustion, and the crushing expectation to be perfect. He admitted that at times, he questioned his purpose. "I used to wake up and feel completely empty," he confessed. "I had success, friends, everything people think should make you happy, but inside, I felt nothing." It wasn't fame that destroyed him, it was the silence that came with it. Behind every fan event and interview was a man too afraid to admit how fragile he truly felt. "I didn't want to disappoint anyone," he said. "So I smiled, I pushed through, I pretended." Those closest to Sam had sensed it. Friends described moments where he'd go days without speaking, retreating into his thoughts. "He's the kind of person who gives light to everyone," one friend shared, "but sometimes, he forgets to keep some for himself." His breaking point came one night during filming in Scotland. He was alone in his trailer after a long day, scrolling through social media. Endless comments, endless opinions, endless expectations. "Everyone was saying something about me," he recalled. "Who I was dating, what I was doing wrong, what I should be grateful for. And I realized, no one actually knew me. They loved a version of me that doesn't exist." For the first time, he put down his phone and cried. Not because of anger, but because of exhaustion. "I'd been pretending to be unshakable for so long," he said, "that I forgot how to be real." That night changed everything. Sam decided he needed to step away, not from acting, but from the illusion. He took time to travel alone, reconnect with old friends, spend quiet mornings away from cameras. He found peace in the simplicity of ordinary life. Hiking, reading, cooking, just being. And slowly, he started to heal. In one of the most honest interviews of his career, Sam finally shared what he had learned. Strength isn't pretending you're fine. It's admitting you're not, and still choosing to move forward. Those words resonated with millions. Fans flooded his social media with messages of love and empathy. For many, Sam's confession was more powerful than any role he had ever played. He later revealed that his struggles had inspired him to support mental health awareness programs in Scotland. "I don't want anyone to feel as alone as I did," he said. "If sharing my story helps even one person, then it's worth it." The man who once carried the weight of 1,000 expectations had finally learned to set it down. When asked if he regretted opening up, Sam smiled faintly. "I think people needed to see that I'm human," he said. "And I needed to remember that too." Today, at 45, Sam Heughan stands not as a flawless icon, but as a survivor of his own silence. He still works tirelessly, still travels the world, still makes people smile. But this time, the smile is real. He's no longer hiding behind it. In the closing moments of that documentary, Sam looks into the camera, his voice steady and sincere. "I used to think my strength was what made people love me. But now I know, it's my honesty that connects us. We're all broken in some way, but that's what makes us whole." And with that, the man once defined by perfection finally became something far more powerful, real.